Hey there, sheepdoggers, and welcome to Blood Bowl 2 again. We're going to be playing, and we're going to be teaching you about humans. Yes, it's time for the last one so far. It's time for the humans. So, humans are probably the ones that I am the least good with. With all the others, I feel like they have definite strengths, definite weaknesses, you know, things that I can focus on. With humans, you have to be a bit more versatile, and you have to, again, like it says here, you have to adapt their style to the opponent weaknesses. You know, like when you're playing against dwarves, you have to dodge, you have to run, you have to pass. When you're playing against Skaven, you have to bash, you have to play the hard game. So, and again, you know, they can't do brilliantly in any of it, so they're always going to lose out to the other team if they try to. If you try to bash a dwarf team, you'll probably lose out. If you try to run around and dodge and you know, play the passing game against the Skaven, you won't do as well. So yeah, they are easy to play as because they can do everything, but they're also hard to play at. They're hard to be amazing with because you can't do everything well. Okay, so let's just check out and get a. There we go. That'll do. That'll do. All right. No, we're just gonna buy them ourselves. So again, as with all of them, I don't advise you getting the ogre first. I still think he should be a 13th or 14th man buy. Aside from that, I'd say what you want to do nearly always, unless you're feeling lucky, unless you really want to push it and experiment, what you want to do is you want to go in 3 rerolls, 1 apothecary. There you go. And then you go and buy your team. You go and figure out who you want. So I'd say because the humans are fairly... I'm not going to say iffy exactly. They're fairly dependent on their blitzers to a certain, you know, in most situations, and it's good to get your blitzers leveled up quickly. I'd say probably my advice is this. That 4 blitzers, 1 thrower, 1 catcher, 6 linemen. I feel like that's a good way to go. Now, other ways you can go is you can forego the blitzer, maybe get 2 catchers instead, get 2 throwers even possibly, depending on what you kind of feel like. Just the one thing you have to remember is the catchers are strength 2. So it can actually be really useful to have a spare lineman, you know, regardless of any other injuries and that. You can have a lineman on the sideline in the reserves for when you defend, and then when you are on offense, you put your catcher in to, you know, catch and dodge and all that. And keep in mind, like, he does have dodge, but he doesn't have agility 3. You know, they're all strength 4, they're all agility 3, except for the catcher, who's strength 2. Decent movement, nothing amazing. Blitz, that's another reason blitzers are useful. They have movement 7. And yeah, that is pretty much what I would advise. That dude did not have a head. So we're gonna go straight in to a human, my human team. And we're going to look at the Valenfort Victors versus the On Your Kill List, which is my team. Didn't Ubisoft die? And he got man of the match, really? Okay. Yeah, so you'll be able to see a human match, but to be honest, I will be talking about what's going on and etc. We're playing another human team, so it's kind of I have the ability to show you everything I can, really, because you know, a human team versus human team, they can do the exact same things, and they can do everything. So you can try your dodging game, you can try your throwing game, you can try your blocking game as well, which is really useful. So, yeah, I mean, he does have an ogre, which makes him a bit more bashy than me. But it also means he's a bit more unlucky than me because he's got an ogre. You know, the ogre is better on... I tend to say, like, with any team that isn't bashy, you want enough subs... You know, obviously, you will, if you don't have enough players, if you've had too many injuries and so forth, you know, you'll want to be using everyone you can, obviously, so your big guy should be out. However, the other thing, wait, which side? I think we're looking from the side of, yeah, okay, so we're looking, this side here is King Khan, who I'm playing against here, the Valenfort Victors, and my team's on the other side. So, what I was saying, yeah, was, you know, if you're on offense, like I believe he is here. No, yes, he's on offense here. I feel like he, you know, even though you get to go first, you're usually better off getting rid of your big guy for offense. For reasons like that as well. He got really lucky there. To be honest, that should have been a loader and you know, a turnover and etc. Which is not something you want. But yeah, I feel like he should have switched out his ogre here to go more on the offense. You know, when you're on offense, you want to be doing more. You know, you want to be using your blitzers for a cage as humans. If you do want to do a cage, you want to be pushing as much as you can, but at the same time, like depending on whether you're bashing or whatever, on offense, as the humans or as the Skaven and the elves and stuff, you want to be staying away from your big guys because they're just too unreliable, and you don't want to turn over at the wrong time. You know, you don't want to be relying on him to save you. You know, he's too tempting to use, and he's too unreliable. You know, on offense, you want more reliability. On defense, especially against a bashy team, you want that ogre there to break through the cage, to, you know, take up the cage, and, you know, especially if he's got guard, like this guy, I believe, does. Although he may have got it at the end of this game. Yeah, he got it at the end of this game. I played this team again as the Skavens, and I think I won 4-1. My Skaven team is now ridiculous. I'll take you at the end of this. I'll take you to the league, and you'll see kind of what I mean. There's like 3 Skaven teams. There's a lot more Skaven teams after I did that Skaven tips and tricks video, and people have gotten used to them more. And now the Skaven teams are, I think the top 2 teams in the league are Skaven teams, and the top team has not lost. And there you go, you see again the bonehead, you know, like coming out and being wonderful and lovely and very, very annoying. So he decided to go a bit more cagey, which, you know, to be honest, considering he was a higher team value than me, and I'm pretty sure he had some... Did he not have guards here either? Okay, he didn't have guards. But yeah, still, he's got an ogre, so he's a bit more able to go bashy. He did also just knock out a couple of my guys as well, so he, you know, that bashing ability is right there. You know, what I'm going to have to do, given the situation, is I'm going to have to go less bashy. I'm going to have to try and slow him down. I'm going to have to try and, you know, just win however I can, basically. And actually, I played him as my orcs, and that's what happened. I played him with my orcs, and I won because of my my blitzer with the 4 agility on my orcs. I think I won like 2-1 or 2-0 or something. A few, you know, injuries and etc. And again, this was a misclick here, I think. He didn't mean to click to there, he meant to click to there, and etc. And yeah, these things happen. So yeah, if he, even with his ogre, if he's playing a bashy team, like a dwarf team, a chaos team, he's not going to want to do this, you know. He's not going to want to do this as much. He's going to want to keep guys all over the place. He's going to want to try and keep them away from the ball, but also, you know, not be in as many tackle zones, not, you know, sustain as many blocks, try and keep his guys up. Because he can't compete with a chaos team or an orc team, because they have 4 strengths. You know, they have 4 strength black orcs, they have 4 strength chaos warriors, and that's going to make the difference in a bashy fight, because they can 2 dice block with single guys, you know, and it'll end up, you know, being almost as though you're outnumbered, you know, all the time. Whereas if you're playing against an elf team, you know, they're going to be running all around you, they're going to be dodging out from under you, you know, you want to kind of... Oh yeah, and also I got an injury there. I don't know what it was. Oh yeah, it was a niggling injury. He used the apothecary and got the standard thing. Now, we're going to talk about when you want to be using your apothecary, you know, what on, like, you know, you're going to have to use your best discretion, and sometimes you're going to be wrong. Yeah, that's just going to happen. So, you can see over here, it was his, oh, that is an ogre. Thank you. He does look like a pink Shrek in a way, doesn't he? So you can see here, this guy already had a mighty blow. He's already gone up a level. Getting that niggling injury is a pain because it adds 1 to all of your injury rolls, which means that he's more likely to get KO'd, not to mention the fact that he's more likely to get more injuries as time goes on. And considering how expensive the blitzers are and how it can take a little bit of time to level them up, it's just worthwhile to use that apothecary and save yourself the hassle. Now, you know, this is early on, you know, you don't know what's going to happen in a game. If you were playing against dwarves, if you were playing against chaos with, like, you know, claw and that kind of thing, and especially if you've got like a player who's almost like a star player, you know, if you've got a really strong player you don't want to lose, then I'd say definitely do not do the reroll. But considering it's still a fairly early team, you know, most of his linemen don't have that many skills. You know, his blitzers, again, like, that blitzer he had there was probably one of the more expensive blitzers. You know, he's able to take the risk, because I'm not that bashy. You know, he's got his ogre. He's more likely to dominate a bashy fight in this situation. So, you know, it's an understandable risk he can take. So yeah. And then there's the ogre again. You know, again, you know, you can see the problem with the ogre is that he's now out of the rest of this, he's now out of the rest of this kind of, you know, group fight almost. And he's going to have to move him and etc. You know, I can leave that guy down, or I can pick him up and keep him, you know, pushing me towards the side and etc. So, there you go, there's his, he actually ran out of rerolls there. Yeah, he totally ran out of rerolls there, and that was a really risky move. And it paid off, you know, sometimes you've got to risk it. Risk it for a biscuit. Has anyone ever eaten a dog biscuit? Just wondering. Just wondering. Answers on a postcard. So yeah, again, now he's going to be attacking. What I'm going to be wanting to do is I'm going to be wanting to get a touchdown back. So you can see here he's got an interesting kind of defensive setup. Unfortunately, it's more useful in other situations. Like, I'm going to be going for a touchdown here. What he wants to do is he wants to spread out his defense. He wants to have at least one blitzer back What I will be doing here, of course, is I will be trying to get him, you know, to beat his line of scrimmage guys down. The line of scrimmage being these guys here. I'm going to be wanting to beat these guys down, including the ogre, and I'm going to be wanting to get into this middle bit. Like, the sides could be a little bit risky. He could tie up my players there. If I bring my players all, you know, to the center, I can make something happen here if I'm lucky. You know, as long as you minimize the risks, it's quite useful to do that type of thing. Ball scatters a bit more. I think it does it. No, it doesn't fall off. So yeah, now let's switch view to the other side. Here we go. We'll follow our team because that was like his offense basically. Okay, so we push him. It's fine. This is why I had it like this, so my linemen could push them in. And then if I needed to, I could kind of follow it in, and, you know, see how we do, and all that kind of jazz. I don't feel comfortable hitting old men so much, but seeing as my guys are old men too, yeah, it's not too bad. Now, one thing I will say is, people always going for the injuries. Never underestimate a good KO or stun. Depending on which team you're playing, especially, a good KO or a good stun can be really useful for you. You know, for example there, that frees up the left side so much because he can't get up next turn. And you can see basically what I'm doing here is I'm running my guys in and I'm going to box off here. And because he's more bashy than me, you know, as humans, I've decided to go more, what's called, passy, dodgy, you know, I don't want to be engaging quite as much. Now, you know, things change and etc. But you can see his response to this is to run his blitzers down here, which kind of, you know, what he should have done is he should have contained me. You know, I feel like the most important thing to do in this situation, very quite literally, is just contain this problem here. You know, the fact that I've got my catcher there, I've got these blitzers free. Yeah, he got double skulls here. It was very unlucky. But still, you know, bringing these blitzers forward, you know, all I need to do in this situation is run him around here and throw. You know, knock these guys down first, maybe. You know, make sure that I kind of cover my bases, as it were. And there's the knockdown there as well. Yeah, and another stun, very nice. And you can see I can run my thrower to here. Well, sorry, to here, I think. Yeah, to there. And then I was basically testing to see if I could get a quick throw instead of a short pass. It worked. There we go. Now you can see I can actually run the guy up to there. I could have gone for a touchdown, and I probably should have gone for a touchdown, to be honest. But I decided in the end of it, basically, I decided like, no, you know, I'm not gonna go for the touchdown. I'm actually gonna I felt like I was safe enough, and you'll see I messed up a little bit, and you know he messed up a little bit. We'll get to those bits. Basically, a little bit of punch in where it's safe, and then give it him his turn because he's gonna try. I forgot about that dude. Unfortunately for him, that happened. He's out of rerolls. He's out of the portrays. You know, he doesn't really have a choice in these things. So I figured, you know, yeah, you'll see the mistake. I made a misplay here. I moved this guy up to cover this guy. I was gonna move this dude. Oh, there he goes. I was going to move the catcher. Of course, double ones at the worst time, right? I was going to move the catcher to over here, so he couldn't reach me. Unfortunately, did I switch views accidentally? I feel like I did. I did. Unfortunately, I clicked on the guy. I brought him up. And luckily his going for it failed. Very quite literally. Luckily for me, his going for it failed, and I just managed to get a block on this guy. Down he goes, and then I got a touchdown. I don't want to risk it anymore. And also turn 8. There you go. But yeah, I clicked my blitzer. I brought him down to cover, and I was going to wait till next turn. Do a little bit of bashing, see if I could get a KO or an injury. Something useful. And then I scored on half-time because of that mistake. I could very easily have lost the ball and that kind of thing. It was unfortunate and it was a little bit stupid, but you learn from your mistakes, or you get lucky and your mistakes are so terrible that you lose. Now, you see here, knocked out 3. What I should have done is I should have got a touch because I have 3 guys knocked out. What I really should have done is I should have scored on turn 7. And then we would have had a turn 7 half, like a reset thing, and they would all roll to wake up. Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking that kind of bent, so it didn't work. Oh yeah, and then we get a little free move thing. That last time was his turn, and you see, like, people always want to go first because they get to bash. But if you consider it like this. I don't want to play it like this because it's a stream game, and I want it to be entertaining and not like play just play to win. So what I didn't do was I didn't basically cage up, take it slowly, take it cautiously, and then score on like turn 15, turn 16. Kind of like that type of thing. I played it a little bit risky. I played a little bit fast and loose. Whatever. This is the thing is, I felt it would be more fun and more interesting for people to see me attempt to pass, to see me attempt to etc. So that's what I did basically. And down he goes. And yeah, that's the reason why it was 1-1. We don't score in this next half. But at the time, but a very valid tactic for especially bashy teams is if you let the other team go first, you let them score. If they're an agility team like elves, you can let them score really quickly. 3 turns or so, and then get a touchdown back because you've got the time. You should be able to do it, and then in the second half, you get that ball and you cage, and you just slowly work your way forwards until you score on the last couple of turns. And then it's 2-1 to you, and he's under massive pressure, and probably he's on low rerolls because he's been trying to bash through you. He's in massive pressure to get that ball to score that touchdown. Maybe he'll make mistakes and etc. Maybe he won't get the touchdown, especially if you get a good defense going on, then you're sorted. So yeah, that's that simply is like it can be a great strategy for bashy teams to win 2-1. Like you're against agility teams, unless you get very lucky, you're almost definitely going to be scored on. And you see here, I went for the pass. It was a decent pass. It wasn't too difficult. Just unfortunate that the rolls didn't go right. You can see I needed a 4+. I got a 3, and then I got a critical failure scatter, which is again unfortunate, but it happens. And basically, for the rest of the half, it's us. And actually, this will be really good for you guys to see. You see, I'm saving my rerolls. We both possibly, and I can't believe he got it again. He got another loner roll, 6 critical success there, and then insult onto injury. Ubisoft is dead. And more insult onto injury. He got man of the match. The guy who died, did nothing, and then died. Yay. Anyway, a human team really isn't my thing. I find humans to be a little bit bland in all aspects of kind of fantasy games and that. Kind of like I am a human, why would I want to play a human? There are exceptions, like dependent on the fantasy setting and stuff. Usually if there's other races, as an option, they'll not be interested. You know, they'll tend not to be interesting enough to go for. Now, basically, what you'll see here is a lot of sacking the ball carrier. You know, a lot of pass failures, a lot of things like that. And this is the problem with the human team, especially, is you need to skill up your guys a little bit towards throwing and a little bit towards bashing. You know, so for example, this thrower, unfortunately, this thrower doesn't have accurate. You know, his thrower does, so he's a bit safer, it's a bit easier. And yeah, this game actually is great to show you how everything can come down to a reroll. You know, he's using his last reroll here to pick up the ball. Unfortunately, it fails. Unfortunately, he picks it up. You know, as I said at the time, the game may have gone very differently if he didn't pick that up. But then again, maybe it would have. Who knows? So, you know, I kind of have to scramble a little bit to get things back. You can see this is his side because his thrower's there. And one thing he did do, and one thing I'll talk to you guys about, is your thrower is fairly durable. You know, he's the same as the Blitzer's armor value. He is more valuable as technically because, you know, he's got accurate, and that really helps your passing game. You know, and that's going to help you against the dwarves. That's going to help you against the orcs. You know, having a strong passing game. However, he keeps his thrower back, and the problem with keeping your thrower back is you are effectively bringing yourself down a man short. Now that can be changed with an ogre. You know, if you have an ogre there, it's like having two guys at least, because he can always do dice block. However, an ogre is very unfortunately, well, like that, you know, he's unreliable. You know, he used up a lot of his rerolls on that ogre, and he was lucky that they weren't wasted even. So yeah, one of the things you always have to be very cautious of. And here's a little juggle, and then the guy I just used picked up the fucking ball, so I couldn't go to pick it up, and I couldn't move it. So instead I had to kind of box about a bit and, you know, do my best to, well, that, yeah. So here's what I did. To get him out of that situation, I, you know, pushed that guy and then pushed my ball carrier, you know, out of the kind of confinement of that group of guys. A little bit of blitz on his catcher. You know, go for the catcher if you can. You're not always going to get him, but, you know, it's worth taking out the catcher and throw if you can. And then, you know, be a bit of a dick and try and injure his thrower, who he's been trying to keep safe because it's Blood Bowl. And most of the time, you know, especially if you're playing against people who are used to the game, they'll just be like, yeah, fair enough, take that guy out of the game. You know, even future games take him out. Unfortunately, 2 dice block, I'd already used my reroll, and I got a freaking double down. Double skulls. Double skull sheepdog is my nickname. I may actually, like, sign on my Blood Bowl videos from now on. Like, in the stream, everyone's like, double skull sheepdog. I may actually sign on my videos as, hey there, sheepdoggers, I'm double skull sheepdog, and let's just hope it doesn't get upgraded to triple skull sheepdog. That would suck. Although, you know, I think the double skull more refers to the fact that I get skulls, I reroll, and then I get skulls again, which always sucks. There again, you know, he's out of rerolls now, so that is a turnover. I have one more reroll left, so, you know, I've got to be careful about where I use it. I probably need to use it to either pick up the ball, unless I use my thrower, or for a pass. But I've got to do, you know, we're both being forced to do blocks to get that second touchdown. And it means there's always an opportunity, or there's always a possibility of getting skulls. There's a skull. Reroll. But now, I don't have any rerolls for picking up the ball. I'm going to try and pick it up with the blitzer. Yeah, it is. Am I going to fail? Yeah, it is. And this is the thing, is like, you know, with a human team, again, you're not great at anything, so you need to rely on your rerolls a lot. So I'd say more so for a human team, you maybe want to keep your team value down a little bit, you know, as much as you can, and getting an ogre raises your team value up. You see it there again, no rerolls. There's a little bit of bad luck and stuff involved here as well, but at the end of the day, you know, no rerolls means, you know, you don't have that many players with the ability to really kind of help out in you know, in bashing, in passing, in etc. So when you get into the situation where you're both dropping the ball repeatedly, you know, a few bad rolls you can't cover for anymore, and this happens repeatedly all the time, it's bloody annoying. To the point where you're just like, well, we're not even going to score here. This is a 1-1 draw. Unfortunate, possibly, but yes, a 1-1 draw. So yeah, that's yeah, and then Electronic Arts got injured as well. So this team is called the People You Want to Kill List, people, or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what it's called, but it's basically a list of people you know who are kind of hated. And you may want to kill. Of course, Justin Bieber is in there. He was the first one who was added. Calm down. You see, Ubisoft was one that I added because I hate Ubisoft. Then you turn over. Give it a second. On your kill list, that's what it's called. Then you've got Electronic Arts was injured. Sheepdog Gaming, of course. He's been knocked out for a long time. Fox News, duh. Oh yeah, and then he intercepted that. How annoying is that? Interceptions are not that regular, and that dude just freaking caught that. What the hell? That annoyed me massively. I wanted to at least get the points for a pass, and I thought maybe I could get a touchdown. Possibly. What I was going to do is I was going to pass to, okay, there you go, KO to Joffrey Baratheon again. You know, someone that people want to kill, even if he's, oh god, I almost, yeah, probably doesn't matter that much, but I'll stop myself there. What I was going to do is I was going to pass to this guy, and then this guy was going to run up to him, hand it off, and then he was going to go for a touchdown, and hopefully it would have worked. Who knows if it would have, but the interception cut me out, and what was I going to do? Nice little pass over there, really annoying that he made it when I didn't. And then, yeah. He tries to knock me down, that happens, end of game. So, my advice for people thinking about playing a human team is think about what you want to do, because you're going to be changing up, and it's one of the reasons why they're a good starting team. Now, I don't advise you to go humans starting off. You know, when you first start playing Blood Bowl, I advise you to go orcs, because orcs are still fairly able to do the passing game a little bit. They're still able to do dodges and stuff like that, not compared to the dwarves. The dwarves aren't gonna. You're not gonna want to dodge with the dwarf. You're not gonna want to pass with the dwarf. You can, it's possible, but for the most part, it's all about minimizing your risks. And if you're passing all the time, you're increasing the chance of, you know, dropping and using re-rolls that you're going to want later and all that kind of stuff. So, oh yeah, there he leveled up there and he got a guard. And as you can see, the guy who died, Ubisoft, for some reason, got man of the match. And that was wasted. It's always fun for a starting team to have your man of the match wasted. But yeah, that's it about the human teams. You know, they're a little bit easier to kill, they're a little bit easier to injure than the orcs. And the thing is I find new players tend to want to do the bashy game more than do the passing and the scoring. So when you're starting off, I would say, you know, especially if you want to play the bashy game, play the orcs first, you know, because your players are more likely to survive. and you're able to play the bash while still having the opportunity to test out the dodging and everything else. So yeah, there's on your kill list, and you can see a slightly more worn human team here. You see, we got a 1-0 against Colic Knights Plebeians, and a 2-1 against Half Pint Butchers. That was a dwarf team. Very, very close match. Very good match. And this is Chameleon, one of he's my flatmate. He jumps in the stream occasionally. You see, he's played a couple of games on stream against people in the chat, and he has. I don't think he's leveled anyone up. It's really weird, but they're called Dead Presidents. So you've got Abraham's Lincoln, the car. You've got Derek Obama. You know, they're silly names and stuff. But you've got George Washington. You've got Dickie Nixon, Rosie Teddy Roosevelt, JFK. That one's pretty obvious. Who's lost an armor value. The dwarves kind of wrecked him a little bit injury wise. Willie Woody, which is Woodrow Wilson. Hardly Worried, which is Hardy something, I can't even remember. Eisenhower, which is Eisenhower. You leave She Grunt, Ulysses Grant. Only Truman is obviously Truman. George W. Buss is how we thought. Oh, sorry, it's Gorgie W. Buss, who is obviously, you know, how George W. Bush spells his name. And then you got Reagan Smash, which is obviously Ronald Reagan, which is funny because it's the catcher, and the catcher doesn't smash at all. But anyway, there you go, guys. That is the human team. I hope little tips and tricks will help. Tomorrow, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a generalized coaching video where I talk about everything that you need to know, pretty much everything that I can think of that you will want to be thinking about, that you want to be doing while you're playing a game. I may show a couple of replays while I do it. You know, maybe things, for example, possibly the horrific disasters, because they're a great team, and you can see here. You know, I've got 4-0. I think this was a win by. Oh no, this was a concede because I crashed. Sorry. And then you've got the 4-1 here as well. So yeah, the last thing to do very quickly is check out the league. Where is the league? Okay, there we go. You can see we've got 64 people in it now, and a lot of teams, 63 registered teams. And then the leaderboard here, you can see we've got Skaven at the top. 8 wins, 1 loss, 5 wins, 0 loss. You've got a couple of orcs and more Skaven about the place. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you're thinking about playing, if you've pre-ordered the game, guys, then definitely come along to a stream and everything. You'll be able to play against me as well and bash in one of my teams, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, guys. I really hope the video helped, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, actually, this is Double Skull Sheepdog signing off. I'll see you in the next video.